Hello, this is Ryan Fitzgerald doing the night of July 15th, 2018 weather briefing. This is the second weather briefing for ATSC 231. Currently, our surface chart is indicating that we have low pressure system over the southwest states and as well as a high pressure state over Colorado. Beyond that, the rest of the nation is pretty insignificant. Calmer winds with some significant weather and over appearing like overcast in the southern states. Moving on to our mid-level analysis, we have much more of the same, not much change, although we do see tighter areas around some of the thunderstorms that we're having tonight over the southern states. Moving on to our upper air maps, we can see much more of the same items, although we have the jet stream running across the northern part of the U.S. and becoming strongest over northern Minnesota and into Canada. Moving into our convective outlooks, we have a chance of thunderstorms across the U.S., especially over eastern U.S. over the Appalachians into the Mississippi River Basin, and moving further west down over the southwest and up into California and Oregon, where it increases to a marginal chance. Moving on to our sigmets, we are looking at thunderstorms basically across the nation, all the way from Oregon down to Florida, and a little bit in northern Wyoming as well. Moving into our airmets, we are looking at much more of the same again. However, we do have a few other items to look at as well. We're looking at some turbulence from 20,000 to 39,000 over the northwestern Pacific states, and IFR as well off the west coast. Looking more into the southwest over Colorado, we have some moderate icing between 16,000 and 28,000, and clouds and freezing rain as well as IFR over some of the Rockies out there. Over northern Minnesota, we have a turbulence for 22,000 to 40,000, an IFR and freezing rain over the Appalachians over on the east coast, and IFR over the northeast coast. Our freezing level looks like 16,000 down south, and decreasing as we move north above or into Minnesota and North Dakota in Canada, where it decreases down to 12,000 feet. Moving on to our PIREPs. Currently nothing much, however, our southwestern states are looking like they're better than what's forecast or what has been put out, with many aircraft indicating clear. Although there is some light turbulence and light icing over Arizona and Utah, and low-level wind shear over California being reported at 3,600 feet. And some more turbulence spread out here and there. Moving on to our our U.S. radar, we're starting to see some of the thunderstorms that were predicted earlier, especially over the southern states and moving into Arizona and southern New Mexico. Moving on to our visible satellite, I couldn't find the old photos, which I wish I had because those are nice. But a visible satellite, again, you can't see much at the moment because it's dark, although you can see some clouds over Oregon and Washington. Moving on to our our infrared, we have a much different story. We are seeing thunderstorms that were being predicted earlier, especially over the southern states in Arkansas and Tennessee. And then moving out west, you can see them over Kansas and especially over Arizona, where you see a bunch of that red, and Nevada as well. Moving on to our vapor satellite imagery, we can see that same scheme, lots of clouds and cells over the southern United States and moving into Arizona. And then we can also see where our jet stream is moving up north as we get into South Dakota, North Dakota, and Canada. Moving on to our local, our METARs currently are looking like relatively calm and nice night out tonight over North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota. Moving on to our PIREPs, Again, there's not much. There is a report of moderate turbulence over um, over Wisconsin at mm, one moment. Can't quite see it. At 26,500 feet. Moving on to our radar in the area. Not much. Again, we're just looking at a very light precipitation in southern Minnesota. Satellite, visual satellite. Again, not much to see. Infrared satellite. We're again seeing just some light clouds and light precipitation across southern Minnesota and into northern Wisconsin. Looking at our vapor satellite, we can see we have a little bit of a jet stream at higher altitudes. Now for moving on to our forecast, our surface prog chart. We're currently looking at midnight on Monday, July 16th. We will have a a cold front moving through the north or the Great Plains of the United States, with a number of high and low pressure systems lining the southern United States, with a high pressure system and some outflows scattered in there as well. Moving on to our low, or our mid prog chart, we can see there is some turbulence over the northeastern United States and occasional embedded thunderstorms and icing further out over the Atlantic. Go ahead and move back to the low now. We have a little bit of IFR over Indiana and Illinois, and MVFR across the United States, especially over the Appalachians and into the Great Plains and southwestern United States, with IFR again off the coasts of the northeast U.S., off of Maine and off the western United States, off of California and Oregon. Moving on to our high prog chart, we have again mostly the same. Some turbulence off the northeast coast of North America, and cumulonimbus clouds and thunderstorms across northeast and south the United States, with our jet stream farther north at 3,500. Moving on to our convective outlook, again, a lot of storms across the eastern United States moving into west, with a marginal chance over Oregon and California. Moving on to our SIGMETs again. Again, some more thunderstorms, especially across the southern United States. Airmets, again, we have icing and IFR freezing rain across the eastern United States, with turbulence in the north and northwest, and IFR off the east or the west coast, and then some more precipitation, some freezing rain, and IFR and moderate icing over Colorado. Moving on to our local forecast now. Our TAFs are indicating that we'll still have some clear nights. A clear night heading into tomorrow, and continuing on into all day tomorrow. Now moving on to our graphical forecast. If things will cooperate, interact, there we go. So looking at North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota again. Our TAFs again, quick little one. Our ceiling and visibility, it's looking pretty good right now. Again, nothing crazy looking, and that's moving on into tomorrow as well. Our clouds, currently around North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, we have sky clear or some cirrus in South Dakota, and a little bit more overcast towards western South Dakota. Uh, as we later on in the tomorrow. Currently, though, we just have some overcast over southern Minnesota and up into Wisconsin. Precipitation wise, we're pretty clear for the area. There is some over Wisconsin again. And moving on into tomorrow, we do have some precipitation down in South Dakota. Thunderstorm wise, we're good so far. Again, with South Dakota having some risk later on. Winds, our max winds are looking between about 60 and 80 for the area, especially over where that jet stream is starting to form up again. Uh, Going up, surface, again pretty calm, and moving up, we do slowly start seeing higher and higher wind speeds out of the west. Turbulence wise, low we're not seeing much. High again, not seeing very much, and looks pretty good all throughout all levels of flight into the flight levels. And moving through, it's looking pretty well as well. Icing, we're looking pretty good, although there are some small areas of forecast icing uh, much higher up in the atmosphere, especially down in southern Minnesota at the moment. Go back. There we go. Surface, none. We're really not seeing any until we get up much higher into 15,000, 18,000, and going up higher into the flight levels till 30,000, where pretty much all of it goes away. Again, that'll continue for some time. And that is it for my weather briefing. Thank you for listening. I'll see you soon.